Looks like everything is accessible. And then we can just go ahead and set that to craft. This is literally the only thing that Cupronickel is for. This is it. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to some more FTB Skies 2. Today, we are going to be continuing our quest into the modern industrialization mod, so that way we can eventually gain ourselves item duplication. It's gonna be fun, but for right now, we must continue from where we left off in the last video. Now, in between episodes, I have since set up a crap ton of auto crafting in all these, especially that one. Holy crap, that's got a lot of recipes in it. But I set up a lot of processes to help me progress through all of this. It ended up leading me to make quite a few changes around the place, but the end result that you'll need to be concerned with is I've got it automated. The only final thing of importance that you will need to know is I finished the geode. It is all completed. I'm not going to do the, like, cracks and stuff that I like to do with all the others because I just need the space. I don't want to waste any more time. Speaking of not wasting any more time, let us start with the first thing that we need to do today. So, our goal is to start the electric age of modern industrialization. We're already basically at the cusp of the beginning of it. We're just going to need to grab ourselves a very special machine hull. Now, I have already set this up to auto crafting. It should already be in all my crafts. And yep, everything's there. So we just need to go ahead and click start. And since I had notify on there, it should let me know when this is done. So yeah, that's it. There's no grandiose thing. We just click a button and then we wait. I guess while we're waiting, I can go over two of the new machines that I actually added to the list, because I did have to add a couple of things for all this. I added the Maciator, which what the Maciator does is it basically grinds things up into powder. So it's very useful. I actually did need it for a few things, so I added that thing to the list. And then I also added an alloy smelter, which is starting to make our battery alloy, which is part of why I needed a laser drill in the last video, which was to get one of the ingredients for that. Alrighty, basic machine hull is done. So there we go. That's basically the start of this. Now there is this whole quest line with all these robot parts and stuff. I've already gotten those guys all set up to auto crafting, and it turned out this quest wasn't necessary for me. And also the only things in here, I already have those guys on auto craft recipes as well. So we're just going to ignore that, and we're just going to go ahead and accept our start of this. And I need that coin. those guys don't go in there. They go into the ether. Bunk. I got a little coin pouch, those of you who don't know. Okay, so we've got the first piece, though. Now that we have that, we're going to go into a multitude of places. My goal is to reach this quest here. So the first thing we need to do is we need to get ourselves a steam turbine. What this is going to do is it's going to take the steam that we started generating in the last video and convert that into power. Do I need more power sources? Not really, but it would be good to have these at the very least just for modern industrialization. I'm not gonna do that, but I absolutely could. Looks like everything is accessible, and then we can just go ahead and set that to craft.
Later.
That one took a little while, but oh. Wait, why did that complete 2 quests? Hold on a minute. There were 2 quests for that. Wait, where was the other one? I'll track that down later, but there we go. Now we got that. So now what this does for us is A, it completes a quest, and B, it also allows us to find more quest lines in here to eventually replace all of our machines with powered machines. Now, you might think, wouldn't steam power be somewhat better since I can keep all of this isolated to here and not have to infringe on the rest of my power grid? On a front surface, yeah, it does have its advantages. But if I go to power, all of the stuff will be able to speed up. That does lead to a bit of an annoying mechanic I'll get into later, but for right now, I do kind of want to switch these things out with powered variants of themselves. I don't think I'll switch them all out now. I might end up doing that, depending on if things take too long. But I think right now the only one I'm really going to want to switch out is gonna be the mixer. Mostly because that thing is required to be the electric mixer for something we're going to make in a little bit. Everything looks to be in order. I know I have a few components in my quest rewards to help speed that thing up. So then we can just go ahead and set the mixer to be crafted. That's good. So while the mixer is also crafting, we're also going to want to grab ourselves this thing right here called the polarizer. Now, the polarizer is a very special machine that is going to help us start to magnetize multiple things. Actually, it's only going to help us magnetize 3 things. I'm not sure how much I'm going to use this one, but at least these 2 I am going to need. Plus, it's also on the quest award, so, you know, that's good. And the best part is, all this stuff is just more stuff I need to set to crafts.
Much later.
After a long wait, I finally managed to get these 2. So there we go. Now I've got my mixer and my polarizer. So now, what I can go ahead and do is I just need to find which one of these is the mixer. There it is. And then I can just go ahead and replace that with this one. So, here's the question. Can I still put that on there? No, I can't. That is unfortunate, but it's not unexpected. I don't really need the wire mill right now, so there we go. Now we've got that one replaced, and then I just need to get a place for the polarizer. I guess we can then stick this here for now. So there we go. Now we got the polarizer. I'll need to get this thing a auto crafter soon, but for right now, that should be good. And that also gets us our first basic upgrade. Now, how this thing works, the basic upgrade, is we put these in here, and then this increases how much overclocking that the mechanical ones can have. That's where a bit of an annoying thing comes into play. So, actually, what recipes do I have for my mixer? I got rubber. I'm gonna show you all something. If I were to go to my rubber recipe and just ask for it to make, say, 12. Let's do a double recipe. Then we head on over to here. Looking into the mixer, you will see this is gonna gradually start speeding up. That also consumes more power. So yeah, this could end up being very, very annoying. Now that we've gotten our next machines, the next thing that we're going to need to get is we're going to need to get ourselves an electric blast furnace. The electric blast furnace is going to replace our old steamed blast furnace. And what this baby does is it's going to allow us to make a whole lot more stuff. It'll still allow us to make the old stuff before, which is good. So for us to get this, we're gonna start needing some of the things we had before, including our polarizer. So I better equip that thing with its autocrafter. Turns out I actually still had one, so we can go ahead and just link that to down there. There we go. Then out of it, we're going to need to get ourselves some magnetic copper nickel. Now, oh, that means I'm gonna need the wire cutter. Well, I have pipes on autocraft, so that won't be a problem to turn that thing back on. But here's where this is gonna get fun. So for all this, we're gonna need an alloy called cupronickel. Now, I already have this in my alloy smelter. It's just a mix of copper and nickel. But the weirdest thing is that when we mix copper and nickel in anything else, this gives us cupronickel. But if we were to try it elsewhere, we get something called Constantan? I don't know why it does that, but yeah, we need the cupronickel. And that's what we're gonna get from this. And that'll allow us to get our electric blast furnace. We're gonna need to get the cupronickel wires into cables, so that way we can get ourselves a bunch of these coils. We're gonna need a bunch of these heat-proof casings, which is just a buttload of Invar gears. Oh, that means I'm gonna need to add a soldering alloy. That's not a problem. That's just tin dust and lead dust. I can add all of that to the recipes. That's probably gonna be easy. And then we're just gonna need to get steel output hatches. I already have all those to craft. Everything should be fine. So let me go ahead and gather up everything for our electric blast furnace, and then we can get this going.
Much later.
Alrighty, I've gathered up everything for this. Oh my gosh, is that special? Okay, I might end up actually having a bit too many of these heat-proof casings from the quest rewards, because one of the other quests is to have me make a kind of a steam engine, but like a bigger one than the ones I've got over here. But those take an obscene amount of coal that I have, and I'm not gonna be able to make that. So, plus I'm trying to veer away from steam, as I did very much have to change some of my machinery to the electric variants while I've been making these because it took so dang long. But, alas, here we go. We no longer need these fire bricks we no longer need our steam blast furnace, and we no longer need this fluid input. What we're gonna need to do is we're gonna need to go ahead and then put this here, and then this here. That way we can then see. Okay, so turns out the electric blast furnace goes at the bottom. When it comes to the electric blast furnace, I need some steel inputs and outputs. I already had to change the input because I needed that for the soldering alloy for something else I had. But that just means we can actually go ahead and change this guy right here out for our steel one. After that, I believe everything should be fine. So we'll just need to go ahead and then slap on our LV input, and then we can just go ahead and fill the rest of these in, which I can also do for these guys. Then we just need to take all of our cupro nickel. Why do I have an extra? Oh, wait, no, that was the recipe. Because, yeah, those guys are temporary recipes since I'm not going to need those after this. This is literally the only thing that cupro nickel is for. This is it. This is its peak lifetime. After this, I don't even need to make any. I realized what I've done. I messed up. The cupro nickel needs to be hollow. Wait, why can't I? Freaking magnets. I wish I had a hotkey for this. There's probably a hotkey for it, but it wasn't working. Okay, there we go. Now we finally have ourselves our working electric blast furnace. We can go ahead and then move on to our next quests. Now, this is where this gets stupid. The next thing we need to make is aluminum. But not just normal aluminum like we've already been getting. No. This is industrial aluminum. This thing to get is a painful process. There's like a lot of different ways that we can do it. Are you kidding me? I could got it through sifting? You're telling me had I actually gone the create line, I could circumvent everything I'm going to have to do for this? Okay, I'm not gonna do that, but I totally could. So the most other ways that I would get this, one would be for bauxite, which for me to get bauxite, I'm gonna need to get a steel drill inside of an electric quarry, which electric quarry I can absolutely get now. Well, I'll be able to get in a little bit. Realistically speaking, the best way for me to get it is actually going to be through Oritech, which I've already had set up a few episodes ago, and I just need to get aluminum crushed in my maciator since I've already been making that and get sand over there. I just don't know if I can automate that with refined storage. And I've also discovered that mods very much can conflict with refined storage. As you see these recipes right here, I made an auto crafting monitor, which allows me to actually see how my auto craftings are going. These crafts are done, but it's still showing them as going, and I'm pretty sure that the problem is the gears. So I'm gonna need to readjust that recipe. And I'm gonna need to find out if I can even utilize the frickin' this thing in recipes.
20 minutes later.
Okay, I wasn't sure at first, but I can use the auto crafters and refined storage on the Oritech foundry here. So I can go ahead and use that to make my industrial aluminum. So I made up a bit of that. It is slow, and I can't really get any way to make that thing faster, but at least it is a way for me to get the aluminum now. So then after that, I decided to go ahead and make the electronic circuit board, which is the next thing on this quest line, which actually gives me a few more of those. And that is what we would normally do to get ourselves this next circuit here. But because I've already set up the ultimate control circuits, that's not really a problem now, is it? So after that, though, we would then move on to the next machine casing, which is going to involve the prior machine hull. Did I keep that on the list? I did keep that on the list. Okay, I'm going to need to make more crafters. Since I'm not going to need the circuit board for the thing anymore, I'm not going to remove that blueprint, actually. Because even though I don't need it for this, I do need it for several other things, which I am going to need down the line. Mainly, one of the things for the actual next circuit, which does not have a a mechanism thing to be able to turn into. So that one is going to be fun, especially since this next quest line is going to involve a lot of fun stuff. With that, all we have to do left today is open up today's chance queue. Yes, it is that part of the show where I risk my entire series for all your entertainment and the remaining gebs. Let's see if they'll die today. Chance queue. Oh! Okay. So, that is fun. Did one of those just become a charged creeper? We've got some problems oh wait, no we don't. Oh, my Supremium bow just mows them down. And they're afraid of me. Strike fear into the heart of your enemies, and your enemies will disappear in a red puff of smoke when you shoot them. Sun Tzu, The Art of War. So did you like this video? Good. Be sure to check out our last FTB Skies 2 video where we started our modern industrialization. Bye-bye!